Hi Rainbows, how are you doing today? Hi, my name's Sally and I'm an adventurer. I'm also an ambassador for the Girl Guides in the London and South East region, which is really exciting, and it means that I can tell you all about my adventures and hopefully we can play a game together. Does that sound like a good idea? Yeah? Are you up for it? Cool. Okay, so my very first adventure was in a rowing boat and I rowed across the Atlantic Ocean. How far do you think that is? Do you want to have a guess? Shout out how far you think that might be. Do you think it's 100 miles? No. Is it about 200 miles? No. Is it like 1,000 miles? No. Shall I tell you how far it is? It's 3,000 miles, which is a very long way away. And do you want to guess who I might have gone with? Have a think. It was actually my mummy. Yeah, I rowed across the Atlantic with my mummy the first time, and the second time I went with 3 friends, so there was 3 of us. Yeah, so we went in a rowing boat across the Atlantic Ocean, and we started in the Canary Islands, which is near Africa, and then we ended up in Barbados. So it was very, very hot and very warm and sunny, just like it is today. Really beautiful day, isn't it? So I want to play a game with you, and this is the game. I want you to think of an adventure that you would like to go on, and maybe if I tell you about some of the other ones, it will give you some inspiration. So some of you might like to go to the jungle, and I went to the Amazon. And in the Amazon, there are monkeys and 3-toed sloths, and there's spiders and creepy crawlies and all sorts of things. There's also pink dolphins that swim in the rivers of the Amazon. How crazy is that? And guess what? I ate some very weird things in the Amazon. I had a kind of a witchetty grub. It's like a big white grub, and when you chew it, it's like, did you hear that bird? When you chew it, it's like you're eating a marshmallow with a very crunchy bottom. So would you like to go to the Amazon, to the jungle? Have a think. And if you do, what sort of stuff would you need to take with you? I also went to a place called the Galapagos. And in the Galapagos, there's lots of different creatures. Has anybody heard of that place? So there's tiny little penguins called Galapagos penguins, and there's seals that come right up to your face when you swim, which is really exciting. And the best ones of all are these little birds with blue feet, and they're called booby birds, blue-footed boobies. And when you go there, sometimes you even see baby ones. So blue-footed baby boobies. How fun is that? Right, so would you like to go somewhere like that? Would you like to go up a mountain? Climbing up a mountain. Yeah, is it cold up there? Is it warm up there? What's it like? So I went to a place called the Pyrenees, and I went with ladies who were really, really amazing, and they're part of the armed forces. Now, do any of you know who they are, the armed forces? Shall I tell you? Okay, so there's the army, and there's the navy, and there's the air force. And one of the ladies who came with me was in the air force, and she was the very first lady, my tent's not big enough to do it, but the very first lady to fly a jet in the RAF. So she was a fighter pilot, and her name's Jo Salter. You might want to look her up because she's very, very cool. And guess what? Even though rainbows weren't around when she was a little girl, there were brownies, and guess what? She was a brownie. How cool is that, right? So we climbed up the top of the mountain, and guess what happened when I got to the very top? I cried. Why do you think I cried? Have a think. Shall I tell you? It's a bit of a secret, so don't say anything, don't you? But I'm scared of heights. But even an adventurer like me can be a little bit frightened at the moment. So this is what I want you to do. This is your challenge, okay? What I want you to do is have a think about an adventure you'd like to go on, and tell your leader or tell somebody who's looking after you what adventure that is. And then I want you to go round your house and find 5 things, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 things that you would think you'd like to take on your adventure with you. Okay, so once you've found them, bring them back and show the person who's looking after you what 5 things they are, and tell them all about it, why you've chosen them. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to think about something that I would like to go away on. So my adventure, I think it might be in my rowing boat, because that was the best one ever. Right, and by the way, shall I tell you what we saw while we were out there? Yeah? We saw tiny little stripy fishes. We saw bigger fishes. We saw happy flappy fish. We saw brown fish, spotty fish, fish called dorado, which were really big, dolphins and whales, right? And one day my mum and I saw this whale and it came up and guess what it did? It spurted all its snot in our face. Gross. And I bet you didn't know what it's like to go to the loo on a rowing boat, right? Shall I tell you what that is? Actually, you know what? I'm going to let you have a think about what you do in a rowing boat to go to the loo. So off you go. Have a think about your adventure. Decide what 5 things you were going to pick. Remember, 5 things that you want to take on your adventure with you that might be really, really useful. Go and find them in your house and bring them together and put them in a little pile and tell your leader or somebody who cares for you why you've decided to do it. And I will see you in a minute. Bye. Hi Rainbows, welcome back. How are you doing? Did you pick your 5 things? Yeah, you did. Have you talked about them already? Where did you decide to go on your adventure? Did you go to the jungle with all the animals? Or did you go to the Galapagos with the seals and the penguins? Or did you climb a mountain? What did you do? Was it exciting? Have you talked about all the things that you brought together, your 5 things? Well, I've got my 5 things. Do you want me to tell you about them? Yeah? Okay, right, here we go. So what I chose first was I chose some food. Now this is very special food. Can you see that? Yeah. Does it look like proper food? No, it doesn't, does it? So this is scrambled eggs. Scrambled eggs. And it's like space food. So it's like the food that people take into space because it's all dried. And what you need to do is you need to add water to make it edible. And this is, yeah, like I said, scrambled eggs with bacon. Yum, right? And it's very, very light. So when you take it on your boat, you can put loads and loads and loads of them on and it doesn't weigh too much for you to row. So that's the first thing I picked. So it was dehydrated food. Can you see that? Yeah, really clever, right? Okay. So the next thing I picked up was, sun cream. Sun cream, because remember I told you, when we rowed across the Atlantic, it was very hot because we started in the Canary Islands, which is near Africa, and we ended in Barbados, which is near South America, and it's very, very warm. And shall I tell you a secret? Yeah, I think you're going to find this a bit funny. Most of the time we rowed naked. What? What? Yeah, I know, naked, isn't that crazy? So we rode naked, so we needed a lot of sun cream because otherwise you get very sunburnt if you're out doing your rowing with nothing on, right? And the reason why we didn't wear a lot of clothes was because it's very wet all the time. Can you imagine being out in the sea and there's water everywhere? So you're always wet and you're a bit sweaty because it's hot. So you definitely need lots of sunscreen. So that's what I picked next. So I got that and I got my food. So that's 2 of my things. Right, what was the next thing I took? Well, sometimes it rained. Now this is not the jacket that I wore. I have a proper jacket for being out at sea, but this is a really good one if it's not raining very much at sea. So it's a lightweight jacket that helps you to stay nice and dry if it's raining. Did you pick something like that for your adventure? Did you even think about what it might be like if it's raining? Yeah. So all the places that I've been have been very sunny, but sometimes you can imagine it's a bit rainy and a bit horrible, right? So that's what I got next. And then, sometimes you get a bit bored. It's true, especially if you're out somewhere in the middle of nowhere or if you're stuck at home for a long time. Yeah, is that what you're feeling right now? A little bit bored? So I took a good book, right? This one's the Daring Book for Girls. I didn't take this one, but this is a pretty good book, and I think it would be really cool for you to have a read through. So this is the Daring Book for Girls. So I took that with me. Oh, did I? No, I didn't take that with me. I'm lying. But I did take a good book, right? So that I took as well. And the last thing, I think you're going to like this. This is what we took on our boat, and we took lots of it. Chocolate. Lots of chocolate. Yeah, we took lots of chocolate. Is that nice? And the reason why we took lots of chocolate is because we wanted a treat. Because sometimes it was so boring, and sometimes our bottoms really hurt, and sometimes actually we just wanted some chocolate. And have you been eating a lot of chocolate recently? Yeah, so we took chocolates, that's what we did. Now, remember when we talked earlier and I said for you to have a guess as how to go to the loo on a boat? Did you guess? Did you know what it was and how we did it? Did you? Shall I tell you? We did it in a bucket. Grim, right? We had a poo in a bucket. Yeah, craziness, because there's no toilets on a rowing boat. So do you think you're pretty lucky to have a toilet in your house that you don't have to go and poo in a bucket? Yeah, I think so too. So that's what we did. So that was what I chose. What did you choose? Okay, so one thing I didn't tell you about that I think you might be interested in, and this is this. So my mum and I, when we rowed, we got a very, 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 very special reward for doing it. So we got a certificate for being the first mother and daughter to row in the ocean, and this certificate is actually a Guinness World Record, which is very, very special, and not many people have one. So this is what we got. This is our certificate. Do you like it? Yeah, it's pretty cool, right? Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed our talk about adventure today, and I hope you found some really cool things. It would be great to see any pictures or any comments about how and what you've chosen and how you've got, decided on your adventure, and yeah, post them below, and I'll speak to you soon. Bye.